Carlson has an ace up his sleeve. Is that not the douchiest tattoo in the NHL right now? And that's too bad because I like him, but he's got an ace up his sleeve. What's the matter? Do they not have tribal art in Sweden?
Is that worse than Sagan's?
What about Ryan Kessler? He's got a Superman emblem with the RK-17 logo.
You know someone's got barbed wire.
Oh, we get a lot of shots. Everybody come to the net. We just have to get more and more pucks to the net.
We used to talk about in Vancouver getting pucks on net and
pucks on net.
Well, that's the key. We got to get the puck on net.
What were you saying about putting pucks on net?
Continue to put pucks on net and
it's just getting pucks on net.
Pucks on net and driving it and making it a hard night on them.
Live on tape from Geeta's apartment or palatial estate on the 23rd floor. This is Pucks on Net, a Vancouver hockey podcast. Doesn't talk about fantasy or fancy stats. We are the official tattoo rankers of the National Hockey League, and so far we give what? Erik Karlsson a C-. How about now?
It's not like he has a
2 out of 10 for me.
It's not like he has a back tattoo. My mic is off too.
No, it's not.
I can't hear myself in my headphones.
You can't hear yourself speak?
I can hear myself now. That's a weird echoey. Is it just the headphones?
Might be the headphones.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I sound weird to myself too, but I can hear you.
I can't hear myself barely at all.
I can hear Dave.
But if Ryan can hear me, then I don't care.
Yeah.
How about now? Can you all hear yourself?
Oh, now I sound fantastic.
Thanks for joining us, wherever you got us from. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at PucksNetCA or PucksNetCa.
Can everybody hear that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we heard it.
We all have our cans are all working.
I can hear everybody else.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And if you want to support the show monetarily, head on over to patreon.com/pucksonnet.
Apparently we need some Beats by Dre up in this bitch.
So I assume Dr. Dre will send them our way?
Yeah. Brought to you by Bates Andre. We have a new Patreon. Oh, Pittsburgh Penguins just scored, and that looks like it's Angry Phil Kessel.
There's nothing like interrupting a tape podcast for a game that already happened.
Hey, well, if Wellwood can do it, anyone can do it.
Oh, Welly.
If you want to support the show monetarily, head over to patreon.com/pucksonnet. There'll be 5 minutes for paying there, and you can hear some bonus stuff. And we have a new backer that happened right before the McLean episode. Chris Schneider out of formerly of Vancouver. He's
in Calgary.
He's back in $5. He's a longtime listener of the pod and always has very nice things to say to us. And thank you for your hard-earned Alberta Duelers.
He had to frack that right out of the ground himself.
I believe he's an electrician.
Well, still, everybody fracks a little on the side.
Evan, you should have seen what I was doing last night after I left your place.
Fracking?
Maybe.
Frickin' fracking.
And, the other thing about Patreon before we get into the show
I don't even know what fracking is.
It's where you, blow up the bottom of the earth to get oil, and it's really bad, I think.
Okay.
Sure,
That's an interesting way of putting it. Let's go with that.
It's sucking blood out of a stone. That's how I describe it. That's literally what it is. It's basically, Geeta, you see, there's hard rocks, but there's oil in the rocks, and they blast the oil out of the rocks.
What's the worst that could happen?
I don't know.
The last thing we did on Patreon, our last Patreon-only episode was we played the NHL board game, and it was the day
it was bored, as in BORED.
Yes, we had some fun. It was the day that Paul and I got laid off, and we played our board game. So...
Well, you play the game of life, but clearly that game sucks.
Yep.
So if you want to help pay Paul and I's my bills,
we've got better games that we should have started with. That one was not. We needed to read the manual.
Did Ian Hanumansing ever reach out to you?
Lawsuit pending. Okay, so. It's the conference finals, everybody. How are we feeling about the hockey? We've been off for 2 weeks.
I'm hockeyed out, man. It ended after the second round. Once the Oilers were knocked out of the playoffs, it's like gold jacket, green jacket. Who gives a shit? I don't care who wins.
I don't.
Go Sens.
I don't want to see, because you've been saying Nashville all along, I don't want to see Nashville go to the finals. I don't want Mike Fisher to go get the Stanley Cup.
Jesus take the wheel and Jesus take the cup.
We've gone over this. Carrie Underwood is going to get the Stanley Cup.
Carrie Underwood, come over here and grab the Stanley Cup for your husband, Mike Fisher.
I believe she goes by Carrie Fisher these days.
Oh, Star Wars.
Didn't she just die?
No, I got a hologram. No problem. My people, we took care of it.
Jesus really took that wheel.
Oh,
sorry.
She wasn't able to claim the name until
Carrie
recently,
Fisher.
but now she is Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Underwood, for all your years pretending to like hockey to be nice to your husband, come on over here and get the Stanley Cup.
You sure you'd leave him in a heartbeat for one of those Sunday Night Football guys? And Phil just flipped the camera off accidentally, very gratuitously, because he was cleaning his eye, quote unquote.
Oh.
But you got to go back and somebody's going to make a meme out of this.
God damn it.
Oh yeah, that's for you, Randy. Oh, that would be a good storyline in the All Birds Stanley Cup final. It would be
That'll get tweeted. Yeah.
Randy Carlisle versus Phil Kessel. Would be rather interesting. But here's the thing, and I probably shouldn't say this on a hockey podcast. I don't care about the rest of the playoffs at all. I could give a rat's ass about any of this now.
Yeah.
Call me when spring training starts. Oh, wait, that already did.
There are some things.
Mariners go.
Okay, so let's talk about the Mariners. They are riddled with injuries. Their entire pitching. Paul. We rented you for the hour, mister.
The entire Tacoma Rainiers pitching staff has been called up to the big team.
Well, exactly. And then we were almost going to go to the Rainiers down in Seattle, and it would be seeing the Spruce or the
Why
Jackson.
didn't you go to the game?
Rain.
Oh.
Who would have thought rain in the Pacific Northwest? Can you believe that?
It's
like
been
we live in
incredibly stormy today.
It's
I know. I'm
miserable.
flying out of here on Thursday, and I can't wait.
I know, Geeta, everybody's going to be gone. You and me are going to have some Black Aces next week.
Are we?
I'm leaving
Yeah.
town
I've never
too.
done a
Where are you
Black Ace.
going?
Well, you know what happens when you get laid off from work? You want to go somewhere really exciting. So I'm headed south of the border, headed into the deserts,
Nice.
and going to Utah.
Peyote.
Cool.
What's in Utah? Family in Utah?
Family, yeah. I have cousins
man.
that live down there, and they want to take me up to Park City.
Park City, Utah, home of the 2002 Winter Olympiad.
Yeah, so I'm staying with family in Seattle and
know you-
Saratoga Springs.
I know you're from Vancouver, right? You've seen the Olympics.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen. They used to live in San Jose, so we'd go to Sharks games together, and now they're out in Utah.
It's the Utah Grizzlies of the ECHL, which I'm pretty sure they're done.
Oh, I was going to say, it's too bad that the Jazz are out.
They don't allow music in Utah anyway.
That's one of the best. That's from basketball.
Paul's going to go to
the New Orleans Saints and the Utah Jazz. You don't think they could have worked out a trade
You'd
for those
think
names?
that they would
The
have.
Utah Saints and the New Orleans Jazz would make a lot more sense, and the Minneapolis Lakers would make way more sense than the LA Lakers. And
you love those lakes in
Washington-
downtown LA.
And Washington should definitely still be the Bullets and not the Wizards. Let's be
Kablama.
honest.
Harry Potter,
Wait,
watch out.
I need to go back.
Dumbledore.
Whoa, Ben Roethlisberger is in the crowd. Well, hide your daughters.
Go on, Geeta.
Am I finally going to get to meet Stu Walters? Wait, I've already met him. Never mind.
Sexy Stu.
It'd be him or somebody else. We'll figure something out.
Kyle Wellwood.
Yeah. Kyle.
You should get Kyle and Kirk on the show where we're all gone. Now, Paul's going to Park City, Utah. Paul was up until recently hosting a music show on television. They don't allow music in the state of Utah. Are you going to be Kevin Bacon from Footloose on this trip? Are you going to teach him how to dance?
You know it, brother.
Look out, Park City, Utah.
You know what he's doing? He's coming in with a big suitcase of CDs. He's going to sell them under the bridge to the
CDs,
kids.
yes.
I thought he was going to have a boom box.
It's going to be vinyl, Ryan.
Listen to this, kids.
Paul's going to be legitimately the coolest guy in Utah for a couple of days.
Yeah, I am.
You're like Will Smith and shit.
Will
What
Smith
about me as
in
Urban?
Bel Air? Is that what we're
You're
saying?
the Fresh Prince of Park City.
This is why I love when there's no hockey
Wait,
to
are you
talk
taking
about.
In Vancouver,
Are you
Paul
taking a cab down there?
Yeah.
with the camera.
You know what? There were other verses to that song. He actually flew and got orange juice on the plane.
Yeah, because every now and then on the syndicated version, you see the long intro, and you're like, "What the hell is this
Yeah.
bullshit?" Why?
I don't know the words to this. I know the words to the whole theme song. This is, at odds.
You're
in
making
my
me look
mind.
like a fool.
The theme song to Fresh Prince reminds me of Miley's Party in the USA. It's the same storyline.
Fun hockey facts coming full circle. That was the win song of the Vancouver Giants for one season.
And John Shorthouse used to quote it when the Canucks would win in Nashville.
In the dressing room.
Right, yeah.
It was a inside, like how the Canucks used Jordan Belfort 27 times this year.
It's a party in the USA.
But,
Canucks win 4-2 over the Predators.
No, they don't.
Everything is regional in life, In Vancouver, Kurt McLean's a hockey legend. Outside of Vancouver, not so much. Inside Vancouver, Paul's a Carlton. In Park City, Utah, he's a Will.
He's Kirk McLean.
That's a very good analogy.
I do like that when there's not a lot of hockey to talk about, we can just kind of spend 10 minutes.
Or we don't have a Vancouver local hockey legend on the show.
I've been getting a lot of. I think we all have. Who are you gonna have on the show next week?
Yeah, that's been a lot. I've been spreading fake rumors.
My
about
mom asked as I was leaving their house, "So who you guys got on tonight?"
You're like, Mom,
I was
it's
like,
a surprise.
Mom.
Dave.
So who do we have on tonight?
Dave, he's been gone.
I think Bob McKenzie's going to be joining us, Skyping us in towards the end
Why'd
of the
you
show.
leave him waiting in the lobby?
Listen, it's raining outside. We have things to do. There's an aura in this podcast studio.
He skipped out on pre-show ribs and beers with Ryan and I, like you
You
did.
mean Noodle Box?
We didn't go to
We
Noodle
did
Box.
not go to
They
Noodle
have
Box.
one TV and it doesn't work.
Oh.
So there are a couple things, like Dave, you were saying that you don't care about hockey right now.
I'm watching it now. No, I don't want people to think that I'm not watching it. I am watching it, but I really don't care who wins or loses at all. I have no horse in this race whatsoever.
Yeah.
Do you want?
I as soon as Ottawa goes out, if Ottawa goes out, I'm done.
Really?
Yeah, I don't even care. I care nothing about that other series.
There's lots of things.
Except I want Nashville to lose.
The game was
I
good.
don't want to see Ryan's prophecy come true.
Which
What?
is?
The Preds are going to win the Stanley Cup, but
Yeah.
they're going to win the Stanley Cup. It's that year.
That would be kind of fun. I really don't want Ryan Kessler's name anywhere near the frickin' Stanley Cup.
He's got
PK Subban, come on, guys. We're
Does Kessler
Subaniacs.
have a Stanley Cup?
No, Ryan Kessler is a Clarence Campbell Bowl kind of man.
Ryan Kessler has won championships, but not Stanley Cups.
Right.
Yeah,
What
he's-
championships?
Didn't he win a
President's Trophy twice, two-time President's
is
Trophy
that a
winner,
championship?
No, those are not championships.
Western Conference championship.
Did he win
Okay.
something in college?
I think he was on a World Juniors team that I think
He
won-
played the most games with mononucleosis out of anybody at Ohio State.
He probably won the Ian Hanumansing board game.
Yeah.
He would have been at the World Juniors, though, when
When they-
Canada was just starting that run of 5 or 6 in a row,
No,
right?
he might have been on the team that beat them with the Marc-Andre Fleury own goal.
He would have been at
actually.
2003-ish.
We'll check our facts on that. We want to get things right, and we don't want to leak anything to the Russians. So, Anaheim and Nashville, super fun hockey so far. But yeah, don't care who wins it all.
Nope.
I like how the storyline of that series is who can be the bigger asshole. Which Ryan is the bigger asshole? You have Getzlaf, Kessler, and Johansson, and it's down to Kessler and
Did
Johansson.
Johansson get anything in? Like, I saw part of game 1, and then I missed game 2 because it was Mother's Day.
There's a lot of cup checking going on in that game. Johansson scored a great goal and played a great game.
Johansson with a great quote. I don't know how you cheer for a guy like that. Sucks when you have to pull a stick out of your groin every shift.
Well, yeah, I saw the footage of that. Like, ridiculous. Like, I know that he's playing. Everybody's got a role to play, and I respect it.
We're talking about RK-17.
Yeah, but coming from a player's background, at least on a limited basis, how Nashville, like, maybe they don't feel the need to do this yet, but you got Cody McLeod on your team. He's not contributing that much. You know what I'm saying?
Go cup test RK-17.
Worse, I say full out jump him, and I don't want to. I hate having to condone that, and there's very few players in the league I would condone that against.
Right.
But you can't run around. I'm going to borrow, Ryan's grandfather Don Cherry. You can't let a guy run around uncontested like that. It's bad for the game, and I think it's more unsafe generally to let him go around doing that than if somebody just takes a run at him.
Right.
Will anybody cry or lose sleep over if Ryan Kessler gets a concussion?
No, I'd probably sleep. I'd like.
Yeah.
But isn't this a situation?
It's like the little kid that goes around to the daycare biting the other kids because he hasn't been bitten yet.
I actually know somebody
you
who just
don't
had
want
their...
you don't want someone to turn around and smack that kid
I know
in the face.
I know
either.
some. Well, maybe one of the other kids needs to. I know somebody who had their kid tossed out of daycare recently because they're going around biting kids, and they do pick
Kyle's?
them up. No, not
Oh.
Kyle's kids. Definitely not.
Kicking him out doesn't teach him anything, but you lay your choppers right down on his arm. You'll know
what
what's
I'm
going
saying
on.
though, isn't this, if you've got the video proof,
Yeah.
isn't this something the league should see and then tell the officials, like, the second you see him doing that,
Yeah.
you keep your eyes on him and you send him off every single time, because that's something that's not being gritty in the playoffs
It's
and
being
letting
a-
a few extra hits.
it's dirty.
go.
It's dirty
That's-
as shit.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Yeah.
And I know we criticize Ryan Johansson for being a bit of a d-bag off the
Right.
ice, but I don't know if he's that dirty of a hockey player.
Well, that's what I
No.
was asking. I'm like, I didn't, but granted I watched like half of game 1. I
not
don't
right.
think he's doing anything nearly
He doesn't
at
have a
the level of Ryan
reputation.
Kesler
He's a
is.
I think he's a diver.
You don't hit anybody in the pills. You just don't. I'm sorry.
He elbowed him in the face too.
Yeah, but like hitting like elbow in the face, that's I don't know. That's an acceptable hockey violence. It's a penalty, but like it's gonna happen. But hitting a man in the testicles in any unless you're
In
dying,
life.
like unless you're being beaten to death and your life depends on it, it's got to be a last resort.
Well, I mean, let's look at how I model my life after the world of professional wrestling, and that's the worst thing that could happen. Only the dastardly women would do that to the men.
Yes,
wrestlers.
China was famous.
So
God rest her soul.
You
R.I.P.
shouldn't hit somebody in the balls.
But I think that someone needs to have him spit in some chiclets. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
The league should be policing this, and this is another example of like when they talk about let the players decide in the playoffs, but really the league is deciding it by letting things go, because if you're not enforcing the rules of the game, then it's you actually are impacting the game by not enforcing them.
No, absolutely. Like I know they don't want to call a penalty, but if a guy's clearly breaking the rules, then what you the referee are now altering the script.
If we could have 2 podcasts about the refereeing and officiating in the playoffs this year.
There's been a lot of complaints as well in the playoffs that the Pittsburgh Penguins have been getting a lot of calls in terms of that the referees seem to be favoring the Penguins and trying to influence the outcome of hockey games. Well, and Pajot, wow.
Holy cow.
So, again, we're talking about a game on a tape podcast, but...
If you're listening to this on the bus on a Thursday morning, this final moments of Game 2 is very exciting.
Maybe this is why I don't care about the playoffs.
Right.
Because the more entertaining and intriguing scripts that are about to be written in the hockey season are going to be after. The draft is going to be incredibly interesting this year to see who those hand-picked cold envelope teams pick to win to take in the first round.
Yeah. Expansion draft is going to be amazing.
Expansion draft a bonanza, and the most interesting thing to summarize about the expansion draft is going to be this guy Marc-Andre Fleury, who might win the frickin' Conn Smythe Trophy and end up being picked in the expansion draft, which is crazy.
That'd be something.
Crazy. That would be crazy, Paul, and amazing.
I was just starting to think we kind of always wrote off Marc-Andre Fleury. He's somebody who would collapse in the playoffs.
But we also said that he'd be a decent goalie for Vegas to pick up.
Absolutely. Yeah. But now my thoughts and my views on him are completely polar opposites. This is a kid that was the kid. This was an old man that was going to be the backup for this playoff run. In the warm up of game 1 of the first round, he has to go in and play. He's got 2 or 3 shutouts. I mean, he doesn't have the best playoff numbers.
He never does. But he's a Stanley Cup winner.
And he's playing incredibly. And this is a dirty series. And again,
Ottawa just iced the puck with 13 seconds left, which is bizarre. And
I see Kyle Turris. I'm not sure the other. Anyway.
And then you have fisticuffs, and you have Marc-Andre Fleury, who's going to go from. He won a Stanley Cup. He won a Stanley Cup as a backup. He's going to go to Vegas. Like if he wins the Stanley Cup and potentially the Conn Smythe based on the production of the Penguins in of this round and maybe the next one, he's got a Hall of Fame career.
He might be a Hall of Famer already,
but he's a lock. Like you think about how durable guys like Patrick Waugh were, where he won cups in 86, 93. 96 in 2001, and now Marc-Andre Fleury is having that career that's, with cups being the measuring stick. And we're really fascinated on this.
Well, no, but Malkin cross-checked Turris in the face and then butt-ended him with his stick off the draw.
And I'm glad to see Sidney's just sitting on the bench here where
he's got pillows around his ears.
But Turris gave him a little chop
and
back.
And then Kunitz jumped in and grabbed him. But Malkin started that whole thing with some general filth.
Yeah. That was Kessler style.
I believe in playing hard nosed in the playoffs, but that kind of shit's unnecessary. And there's kids watching.
EM71.
Well, I mean,
I didn't like that EM7. If you want to be a douchey player out there, kids, just name yourself after a license plate.
Paul.
Yes, sir.
I know something you're passionate about.
Science fiction.
And what do you use to read those science fiction novels with?
Well, my glasses are actually for things that are further away, but I'd be happy to read the advertising from our wonderful sponsors. Hey,
after this, I'll display our present.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Yes, Geeta.
Where does Dr. Brad work? I was on their website today.
Abbotsford and North Delta locations.
Those are the locations you want to hit up.
Okay.
I've switched my locations because I don't live there, but I go there because B-Rad Brad is rad.
North Delta. Come for the eye doctor, stay for the Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh, those are good, especially with the Power Rangers boxes they had recently. But they're not a sponsor. You know who is? It's these folks. You know, with all the options out there, why is it that so many people, including local sports pros, Kyle Wellwood, not Kirk McLean, I guess. But
Kirk McLean doesn't wear glasses.
His vision is like,
no,
what's better than 2020?
He does the.
Oh, we were going to get through this read so fast.
Sorry.
What the fuck?
He goes and buys them from the pharmacy.
Right, that's right, because he doesn't need legit glasses. But I do, and I trust my eyes to Image Optometry. Could be the online prices, could be the bricks and mortar service, it could be the direct billing, or it might be that they're the only ones to offer a doctor's eye exam and a complete select pair of glasses for $89.95. Mine were not that cheap, but mine are really nice.
Well, now
glasses.
you don't
They're
have a
beautiful.
job or benefits, so if you want to help pay
yeah.
for Paul's glasses, patreon.com/Pucksonnet.
Am I getting a cut of that now? Am I getting some of that money?
That's paying our electric bills now.
All right. It's an unbeatable deal that'll be sure to you can be sure to catch your next match in glorious HD.
Yeah.
I mean, what else would you expect from the most affordable eye care chain in British Columbia? Image Optometry. That's Image, Ryan. Image Optometry. The official eye doctors of the Canucks, Pucks on Net, PMAC on the street, maybe Kyle Wellwood, and you can find them online at image.ca or image. Imagine more.
And if
for less.
Abbotsford and North Downtown Pucks on Net sent you. So we got a present in the mail.
Oh!
And this came from listener Yerky21 out of Ottawa. He lives in Ottawa. He's formerly a resident. You know, he talks to me about the Mariners. He's a Mariners fan in Ontario, and he's a fan of the pod. And he sent us a present, and I went and picked it up at the UPS store today.
Via Texas.
And it's our own Vancouver style street sign.
Oh, that's so cool.
That says Pucks on Net, Ka, and 2300 block because Geeta's palatial estate on the 23rd floor.
Wow,
that is freaking
bad.
badass.
That's so cool.
Yerky.
And he
it's legit. It's got some heft
Whoa.
to it.
Yeah.
This is like something the kids steal when they're drunk.
Yeah, it looks just like the Vancouver one. So after this, we're gonna get a couple beers in us, and we're gonna go take the wrench out. We're gonna get rid of Pat Quinn Way, and we're gonna put the Pucks on.
Oh, that'll put us in a really good light.
None of us will be working at Rogers.
I'll be
next
right
year.
behind you, Ryan. I'm coming.
So back to hockey. It wouldn't be it's a yearly tradition. We talk about the Washington Capitals getting bounced in the second round.
Right.
What do you do? What do you do?
You try to get the U.S. government to change the divisions in the NHL.
Can they play in the West?
I invite Evgeny Kuznetsov and Alex Ovechkin to the Oval Office and I tell them all our secrets.
This is like you kind of forget that this is a team that, you know, Ovechkin and Backstrom have been there since we were going to BCIT. They've been doing this for almost 10 years.
Okay.
They have 3 President's Trophies. They've had 4 coaches. What do you do with this?
You're saying there's one common denominator they haven't changed.
Is this as good as it's getting for them?
I'm starting to think so.
They keep losing in coin toss games.
Should we call up Uncle Brian?
Like Fleury stole Game 7 from them this year.
Right.
Yeah.
He stole it.
But you look at the team.
They could have lost in the first round in Toronto.
I don't know if
easily.
but I don't know if you blow it up because like.
But that's
I
the
know
thing.
that
Are
this
you
keeps
okay
happening.
with just good enough?
But what I'm saying is like when you lose in a Game 7, it's a coin toss. It's a coin flip.
Is it?
Well, I don't know. I used to say that all the time, but now it keeps happening every single year. Literally every year. Game 7, second round. They lose every time.
Yeah.
How many more Justin Williamses are there out there for them to acquire?
That was Ryan and I were talking before the show, and that was my first thing. I'm like, I don't know if you get rid of these top end guys, are you able to just mix in a couple more fiery veterans?
You mean like they should have picked up Alexander Burrows?
An Alex Burrows type of guy would have made a huge difference. Like I'm saying, a couple more Justin Williams, and I know you're not going to be Justin Williams, Mr. Game 7 or whatever, but there are guys out there like even Yannick Hansen would have been the type of guy that sort of flies under the radar, plays hard, is better in the playoffs than he is in the regular season a lot of the time.
Paul's right. That's exactly what they're missing is some sandpaper. You look at that lineup, there ain't a lot of sandpaper.
There's
on
one.
There was a Russian reporter.
Tom Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson. Yeah, one.
And that's it.
But you need more than that. Like, you look at Pittsburgh, they've got more sandpaper than that. Ottawa's got plenty of sandpaper.
Oh, yeah.
Sandpaper. Anaheim's nothing but sandpaper.
They got young sandpaper. They got old
sandpaper.
Swedish sandpaper.
So they need sandy paper.
Just different types of grit.
Did anybody see the Ovechkin thread on Twitter from the Russian reporter right after the Capitals loss? Basically, he was saying sort of like Ovechkin is the like handsome, sexy sort of you can sell the game with guy.
He's not that good. He's kind of ugly.
That I think he actually did, just
His
as
game
a
is sexy.
marketability.
His game is sexy,
marketability.
and no one wears gear like Ovechkin wears gear.
And he was saying that Ovechkin kind of plays the same level of intensity from the first week of the season into the playoffs, and he's not necessarily the guy you want leading the way.
Okay.
You want him standing next to your
leader,
whoever you think is a leader in the sport. And I know there's great debate whether it's
Paul. They can't all play for Pittsburgh, okay?
But
they already got Phil
or Chicago on a.
They
good
were
year.
saying like, yeah, they need that type of leadership, and the organization has maybe given too much to Ovechkin.
Okay.
In addition to just being like the top offensive player, they may have handed him. Some teams are better off with a guy like, I always think of like Tim Taylor was the captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning, or Dave Andrechuk. That was an organization for a long time. They'd pick the gritty leader in the room, not the best player on the ice.
Which seems to be a common
Jason
thing.
Smith, serious captain, Edmonton Oilers.
He loves pizza.
But then it's awkward, though, when they win the cup. Some guy, get over here and take the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, Mike Fisher.
Derek McKenzie. Derek McKenzie, the captain of the Florida Panthers, who no one's heard of.
But that's the whole point of a captain. It's not to say, here's a letter on your sweater to say you're the best player. The letter represents, like, you're the guy that they look up to you.
It really
you lead them.
It shouldn't be an identifier as like a star player. It used to just be who talks to the referee and who is that sort of representative as like the chatty guy in the room who's almost like an extra alternate coach.
Well, if you're a Pittsburgh Penguin, everybody's a captain because everybody can talk to the referees.
There you go. But anyway, but he basically was saying like they need that type of leader, and too much has been handed to sort of Ovechkin, I think.
Well, and
it's hard to argue with that because they do seem like the type of team that, you know, maybe they add Hansen and Burrows. We know those guys because we're a Vancouver-based hockey podcast, so if we're Canucks-centric. But a couple of those type of guys, they might be playing right now.
But they've
like,
done
it's not
that.
big a difference.
Not really. No, they haven't.
Yeah, but like the whole team is not Ovechkin and Backstrom. Like they flushed guys.
Yeah, but other skill guys. That's more of the same on every line, just varying levels of goodness.
They tried to add Oshie, but Oshie is probly still on the side of like skill than he is like
Kuznetsov did the
sandpaper.
dirty bird when he scored a goal. He's a little sack of shit. Burakovsky's more of the same.
That's still a great...
Johansson's more. Yeah, but it's the same shit on every line. So you game plan, you come up with what, like, you can't change it up. Like, you can't change it up like how when you play other good teams where, like, Anaheim's going to give you, like, a super skill line, and then they're going to change it up with a crash and bang line. With Washington, it's the top nine. It plays exactly the same way.
Or have a line with a little bit of, you know, texture to it where there's you don't know what you're going to get hit. You might get, you know, a right winger clocking you in the head, but then
everybody's
the other
a little,
two guys are spinning circles around the guys that are left standing.
And no one except for Tom Wilson, who doesn't play much.
Yeah.
No one's making their defense. So you're not going to have Tom Wilson against the top defensive pairing. No one's going to make, like, for example, like, who's the top pairing in Pittsburgh? Well, no one knows because no one's heard of these guys.
It's Oli Mata.
Yeah, no one. Okay, fine.
Dumoulin, Ron Hainsey,
some
Rockin'
guy,
Ron Hainsey.
Kyle Wellwood's back out there playing these, but no one's
playing.
But no, you know what I'm saying? Like, no one in Washington is going to make those guys uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, they dump the puck in their corner. They're not worried about who's coming.
Yeah.
No.
You need some guys in your top 9 forwards who are animals.
And I it's funny you bring this up because I was reading something today.
I think you're right, Paul. You hit the nail on the head.
I think we agree. It's a fantastic team. I don't think I'd want to destroy it. I should call Uncle Brian and be like,
you need some grit.
Yeah, just add a couple of these guys. They're not that far off. I still think, you know, next year could be the... I don't know, we always say that, but
wait
really,
till
honestly,
next year.
Do you think the Capitals were good this year?
New team, new president.
We're going to trade for Ryan Kessler 4 years ago. He's going to be great. It's just what the team needs.
Ryan Kessler now might be fine on that team.
I could see that. Ted Leonsis, you got to come back with me. If you're Russian, somebody's got to do something about your Russians.
Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Great Scott.
You got to come back. Great Scott, we've got no grit.
I was reading that the Penguins actually played the trap against the Capitals in the playoff in that
That's a
series
throwback.
because of just the way the team they are and the way the Capitals or the Penguins were hurt.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about that.
Oh, yeah, they're the trap queens.
I saw my mom for Mother's Day yesterday, and the first thing she said was, "Boy, that Kirk McLean sure is handsome."
My mom said the same thing. I showed her the photo of
He's
us all.
so good looking.
I believe her first reaction was, "How old is Kurt McLean?"
51.
I think he's
He's got a
50.
twinkle in his eye.
In the binary system of whether people are attractive or not, the 1 or the 0, is he a 1?
He's a 1.
There you go.
There's been a handful of Canucks stuff that's come up, sort of.
Yeah, it's all in the recycling bin. Nobody cares.
Anybody upset about Travis Green?
No.
Where'd
cool.
he go? Oh, Vancouver.
Missed the playoffs in the AHL. Promoted to the big team.
We lost him. He's going to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Well, how did everybody feel about Jim Benning's scorned girlfriend comments after having Nikita Trampkin walk out on him and then just saying that we need European skill, but North American heart
honestly,
because
I'm gonna give him
Nikita broke my
I'm going to give him a
heart.
pass
Good
on that.
Lord.
I think he misspoke.
Yeah.
I don't think that is any kind of indication of Jim Benning's character or ilk. I'm going to give him a pass on that.
Well, look at the players he's traded for and drafted. Like, I mean, he is not strictly drafted out of the Central Division of the Dubs.
certainly hurt him saying that at European Hockey Fest 2017. Like he's standing in Cologne, Germany at the World Championships, scouting European players, making those comments. Yeah, the optics aren't good, but I actually don't think he really meant it.
Of course not.
Well, it's one of those things. It's like you don't get mad at your grandparent or parent even for saying something mildly racist a lot of the time because you're like, well, it's generational, but it's not. You give them a pass, but you do go I don't think they realize what they're saying.
Yeah.
That's what I get from Jim Benning, but at the same time, it makes me go.
You know what
he has put a
but
premium.
the thing is, he said it on a public platform, not
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to finish that thought that he's put a premium as well. You've seen on North American guys. I know you say he's drafted, Oli Levy and stuff, but think about the value that he's placed on whether you're talking about Goodbranson or Sutter or all of these guys that have come in
with the North American
heart and all of the deeper numbers, which I know there's mixed feelings about those, but they're not guys that are necessarily even on the eye test.
Yeah.
Amazing players, but they've got heart and they've got leadership, and it is concerning to me to have a guy leading the show that doesn't think about that in a PR sense, whether or not it's just like a dad gaffe.
He should have.
There is something there in his brain that is attributed to the way he scouts players, and that is concerning.
He should have just said what we all were thinking. We want somebody that's not going to go back to the KHL or want to play for some sort of Swedish league instead of the Vancouver Canucks or the Utica Comets.
Or you say, we want players that have skill but also heart. There's no need to bring any sort of nationality into that conversation. It's just dumb.
But there was faux outrage.
We should refer to all the players as they.
Anyway, no, I get why people were upset about it. And it was stupid, but I do think it is potentially a sign of
Dave's doing it. I just
the
made
way
a
he
funny
thinks
dance.
about things.
He doesn't do that often enough.
This is something that came to my attention yesterday, the day before. Jake Virtanen is playing for his country this summer.
Yeah, what the hell is going on with that? Why is he playing roller hockey?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
to get even more in shape.
Did they let him into the U17
Those kids are
tournament again,
weird,
or?
man. I knew a lot of roller hockey kids growing up. They're strange. They all lived in weird houses and used weird roller hockey lingo.
We're going to the game tonight. The Canucks game. Voodoo.
We're gonna go Blade.
Yeah.
There was
where is he playing? Under the SkyTrain?
It's
I
in
don't know.
Poland.
Yeah, they put the nets at the skate park, and the skateboard kids get really upset.
Hey, we rented this space.
Errol and I have talked about this a lot because he's a roller hockey kid.
He played roller hockey growing
but
up.
we're in my hometown, Krispy Kreme capital of Canada, North Delta. There was a very strict divide between the Stardust roller hockey kids and the regular ice hockey kids, and the roller hockey kids were fucking weird. I'm sorry, they were weird kids.
Yeah.
They lived in slanty shanties and they were strange. And
they lived on the other side of Scott Road.
There was a whole other There was a whole other hockey slang and culture that was super
Dave,
foreign.
Some of us couldn't afford to pay to get into these winter clubs. You're talking about guys growing up on welfare and slanty. That was me, man.
You were weird. Yeah, and you were all like,
I had rollerblades.
You're like, oh, hey, Dave, you want to bend some plastic and go blading?
Purple and black rollerblades.
No, but it was like they wore
Pandora's box is opening.
They wore Cooperalls. They were and like no shouldies and there was no contact, and they would just be like, yeah, we got you out on blades. We'd take you. I'm like, we don't want to play hockey with you.
Yeah, sounds like something.
Get out of here, you creepy rollerblade kids.
I say,
did you play?
I played a bit of roller hockey. We played more street hockey.
They had
but
the
we played a bit of roller
colorful,
hockey.
flashy NASCAR pattern jerseys. Everything was purple and black and pink.
The Voodoo had some cool jerseys, though. That was like pink and black.
Slanty Shanty
Purple.
Geeta over
But
here.
that's part of like the roller hockey
Grew up in
culture.
Vancouver.
Was like the ridiculous, like gimmicky, colorful
that
jerseys.
was 90s, though. Look at the
No,
San
it's
Jose
still
Sharks.
going. It's still going out. Go on YouTube and look at the professional, and I'm using quotations, professional
Jake
roller hockey.
Virtanen.
They're all in like they're wearing Jenko jeans and like these massive, weird, ugly jerseys. And now Jake Virtanen's in with that group. Red flag. This is the last straw, Jake.
He's got first the Bieber and the partying.
It's
and
not
the late
real
nights.
hockey. There's no offsides, and they use a puck that you put in a freezer. It's stupid.
Did Burroughs
It's
play?
got ball bearings in it.
Did
We're
Burroughs
gonna-
play ball hockey?
Ball hockey, which I think is actually more acceptable.
That's a crazy workout because you're running, and I think that
Well, I played it in the summer, and it was
Yeah.
a big unlock for me. It gave me a good 2-month head start in the regular season. People figure out I suck.
why is he playing inline hockey in Poland? Now,
Why not?
I've been to Poland. Poland's a hard place not to have a good time in, by the way. Poland is super fun.
I would like
I'm
to
not
say
kidding.
allegedly because I don't have my Abbotsford or British Columbia yellow or white pages out.
Okay.
It says Jake Virtanen, Abbotsford, BC. That could
Yeah.
be like Smith out in my neck of the woods. They could be
Okay.
all over the place.
Abbotsford is it smells of roller hockey weirdos.
Yeah, there's a roller hockey team there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You kids out there, I know you're listening. I know you are. You want to not be a weirdo. Somebody says, hey, come to Stardust and go blade tonight. Just don't do it. Go do drugs or play video games or something. Don't be a weirdo.
I thought you were going to say go play baseball.
I'm having flashbacks to being outside the Pacific Coliseum taking clinics with the Vancouver Voodoo. I used to do that when I was a kid.
Really?
Did
Yep.
you let them keep your empty pop cans? Because they probably needed them.
Wait, now, how is an NHL player
No,
playing
Okay.
inline hockey?
No one's freaking out about it?
He's got a big sponsorship deal with Road Warrior.
What's
Well, they're like, at least he's doing something athletic instead of just eating.
Keeps him out of trouble.
is that what the Canucks are thinking? Like,
I don't think they're happy about this. I would like to know if they sanction this. I'd like to know. Because I like the insurance and all
that's
that.
all I'm thinking.
All kidding aside, Jake Virtanen is still a valuable commodity.
yeah,
People would give us something for him.
reverse Cam Neelying. We're doing it this year. We're finally going to do it.
I guess it'll keep the weight off. But Poland again, vodka's like free over there.
And the pierogies.
Yeah, he's going to put the weight on.
Luckily, it's roller hockey, so people just look at him funny.
He'll just glide. That's the other thing. With ball hockey, you're running. Roller hockey, just
So we're saying if you want to get him into shape, you send him to Quebec with Burr to chase some ball. You don't want to go bleed. You want to go chase some ball.
That would be
like a fucking golden retriever.
I would play fetch with him in the park.
Yeah, I'll take Jakey Verts out for fetch, but I ain't gonna skate the seawall on rollerblades like a fucking loser.
Travis Green will be calling him every week.
Speaking of
Rollerblading
checking in on him.
rollerblading at all is freaking lame. I'm
It'll be
sorry.
fine.
you know what
Why? Because it's 20 years since it was cool?
Mighty Ducks 2. It was cool for like shooting a ball into a garbage can playing roller hockey. Was cool for like that 1 second. That kid from Saturday Night Live, Keenan Ivory.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
you shoot it. Everybody did that. Everybody
Yeah,
took the
for
garbage
like a
can
year.
over.
Yeah, it was fun. It was like Pogs. It was hot for a bit, and we've all moved on.
Yeah.
I went on a date once with a girl, and
So let's go blade.
She showed up in rollerblades.
she goes, "Let's go. We'll go to the seawall rollerblade." And I go, "Wait, what? Like, are you serious?" Like, I thought she was kidding.
Yeah.
And then she showed up, and she had her rollerblades over her shoulder,
That's not your type of girl.
and I had to go rent a pair of rollerblades.
No, you just go home.
But here's the kicker: I was like dressed like to go on a date.
You had some Jenko jeans and a big jersey on.
I had a big Jason Smith jersey on, nice and baggy. But no,
yeah.
oh, I like playing hockey.
Post lockout fit jersey. Nice reference.
The other thing I want to talk about, we're talking about North American heart or European heart.
Okay.
Yulia Kovalchuk wants to come back to the NHL.
Yeah, Ruble's taking a huge dive.
Is anywhere he's going to wind up? Washington?
Vegas.
Vegas, yeah.
Is that it?
Washington, Montreal, or Vegas? What do you think, PMAC?
I would be interested if he went to Montreal after the success, after I called it, of their recent addition of a Russian Radulov.
But here's
The Russians do real well in
Here's
Washington.
the thing about Radulov. Radulov had a lot of YouTube moments. He didn't score 20 goals. He had like 18 goals. That's not...
Yeah, how much was he making?
$5 million. That's not that good. That's like 4 more goals
Secondary
than
scoring.
That's 4 more goals than Louis Eriksson scored. But they were really pretty.
And Louis making what, 6?
And Radulov's got a cool face. But like, I don't think he was that good personally. And
he was good because he had those he had no expectations because he came in with his checkered past.
But less than 20 goals for that kind of money. And look at, we're watching them not play right now in the 3rd round.
He's probably playing inline hockey against Jake Virtanen in Poland.
He's blading out in Krakow. I don't know. I don't think it was that successful of an experiment. He had some great goals and he was the best player on a team that underachieved in the playoffs. But like blah 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 blah, not worth the cap hit. Go to Vegas.
Paul is looking like he's
54 points this season.
How many
he
goals?
Didn't play every game. 18.
For
54 points
for $5 million.
That's a lot.
Is he
That's
making?
a lot of Zoppity.
He was a good. Apparently, you'd always hear he was good in the room. He wasn't an asshole anymore. Everybody liked him.
Yeah.
That's fine. But yeah, if you're looking for production,
It's just barely getting over the 50-point mark makes it okay. It's like Jordan Eberle
those are
chiseling out
stats.
it's like Jordan Eberle chiseling out those 4 goals against Vancouver at the end of the season to get to 20 goals.
Yeah.
It's barely acceptable. My point is Montreal's got other issues to address, and if they're going to spend that money, you let Radulov walk. He's not clearly him at his very best, which is what we saw last year. If he is giving his all and having a great effort, didn't get them any further.
Yeah.
So as
They have
much,
to add
and this is
something.
where general managers have to learn how to manage their teams properly. Yeah, the fans liked him, and he played well for what he was capable of. But at the end of the day, it's not worth the price tag.
Yeah.
And you cut your losses, and you'd go in a different
Now
direction.
this is where you're wrong because you're talking about general managers having to appease the fans. If there's any general manager in the NHL right now that needs to appease their fans after some bullshit, it's Marc Bergevin.
But look at a guy like exactly. But look at a guy like Peter Chiarelli. He made the unpopular trade, and it worked out like gangbusters. We all thought he was an idiot.
Which one?
Hall for Larson.
Was that as impactful as
Absolutely. Adam Larson was a monster for them this year, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, he had a couple really I think he had 2-goal games a couple times and
Taylor Hall did his usual thing. He put up a lot of points on a team that was not,
that was going to get first overall.
That was not going to do anything, and he got hurt.
And he made a sassy tweet.
Yeah,
that
he
was
lottery
a great tweet.
Lottery ball.
Whatever. He
expert.
looks like a beaver.
Angry beaver. On the other thing we wanted to talk about was we complained about the Capitals. We talked about how the Penguins are good.
And Marc-Andre Fleury is fantastic.
Yeah.
The Canucks, no one cares.
Yeah, there's nothing. The biggest story right now is Jake Virtanen playing inline hockey, which just offends us.
And they're picking 5th.
Yeah,
And they're
again.
I wonder if we can take Ole Levy twice. Leave Matthew Tkachuk on the board.
Well, they're talking about some defensemen on the radar.
We kind of have to consider that as a franchise.
You're Mr. Forwards are a dime a dozen.
They should take a quarterback.
Why not take more D?
They need a center. They need a second center because after Bo Horvat, it gets pretty scary.
Yeah, you got Brandon Sutter there. Brandon, hey, I can win a lot of faceoffs.
Can you play Granlund at center again this year?
See that's why I think they have to take a center. As much as you want them to take a D because Trampkin left a 6'7" hole in our hearts. I think and I'm not even saying that there's a top end center available, but good teams can still get away with having a 1A and 1B type situation, but we don't have that. Once Sedin retires, it's Bo and Brandon, and then
Kyle Wellwood's on the depth.
You're talking about putting a guy who's way more comfortable playing the wing at center. I think just saying.
Well, it sounded like he wanted to play center, but the team is more comfortable with him on the wing.
Oh, I want to play center for the Vancouver Canucks too, but I don't think that's going to happen. No, I think.
But it's different when you say it like that. Like this is a guy who doesn't want to play center. It's like no, he wants to try.
He's too small and he can't. He's not strong enough.
That being said, even if he wants to play center, that's 3 guys that can play center on an NHL
Just because
team.
he wants to doesn't mean he can.
No, you need more than that.
I'm not
you
saying
need
he'd
depth.
be better off that way,
Jacob
but I'm
Mark's-
saying
yeah.
you've got options there, at least short term.
I'm sure Jacob Markstrom wants to be the number 1 goalie, but I don't think he can. Now, who's the kid in Portland?
Cody Glass is the kid.
I think that's your guy.
I don't know.
If he projects to be Ryan Johansson, which is what they're saying,
because Ryan Johansson played for Portland.
so it got to be the same guy.
Have you watched him though? Like I haven't watched that. I didn't watch that much Major Junior this year, and a lot of people
That's
I've
why I'm
talked to that
asking
do
Brian.
don't seem to be that fond of the guy.
He seems like a guy that's a good hockey player that wouldn't see the NHL for 3 years. It's just, I would either go with the best kid in 5th in this shitty draft year. Go with the best kid available, and if
Who's the other kid with there's another center who's in the Canadian Hockey League.
there's a kid named Michael Rasmussen, which the fancy stats guys are saying he's not good, and they're kind of worried that he's riddled with North American heart, and a guy like Jimbo might want to take him.
Oh.
And I remember him. He's just kind of a slow-moving, lumbering centerman.
We got a slow-moving, lumbering right winger playing on the inline team.
Yeah, it'll work out great.
They'll link up, samesies.
I don't know what you know what I'm. The more it's fun to think of the draft in years where you have an Austin or a McDavid, and you can just go, well, it just is so easy when you have like 5 when you have Matthews and Laine and Pierre-Luc Dubois and all these guys, and then it's fun to think of the draft and guess. But when there's 1.5 guys and then a pit of despair, it's not really fun to play fantasy GM. It's kind of more daunting. Like, oh, I really am glad I don't have to make this terrible decision.
Anyway, I'm just looking down the list, and the name I've heard a lot of people throw around is Liljegren. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Hey, 2 years in a row, you'll love
6 foot tall defenseman from Sweden.
Liljegren.
And Casey Middlestad is the other center.
Casey
He's out of high
Middlestad.
school, and people have been complaining because of the Patrick White pick
And Jankowski
10 years ago.
The Jankowski pick, remember Calgary?
You know who was influential in that Jankowski pick?
Who?
Is that guy that works for the Canucks now? That used to work for the Flames. Sven
Barchi?
Yeah. Some guy that's like the assistant GM or head of scouting or something.
Marcus Granlund.
Jankowski's made it. Like he played a few games this year.
Yeah, but that was a really high pick like 6 years ago.
I thought that was the kicker in the NFL.
That's
Janikowski.
That's Janikowski, the big fat kicker for the Oakland Raiders.
Anyway, I have not watched that much junior hockey this year. I probably saw more bantam hockey than I saw junior hockey this year.
I just watched a shitload of junior hockey.
Yeah, so you're a guy.
You're all about Matt Barzal.
It's pronounced Barzal. He is a douchebag. Last year he reclined his seat into us on the plane.
I remember that.
And I didn't say that until now. And when that happened, I was like, "This is a son of a bitch. He'll never play in the league." And then he went to New York and he played with the real hockey players, and they developed him properly with like Tavares and Andrew Ladd, and they sent him back because it was what's best for him. And it was watching the man among the boys, and it was just so. It was just mesmerizing to see. He is a fantastic hockey player.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what you want when you have an NHL prospect go to the dub.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this isn't the shit on Jake Virtanen show,
Yeah.
but when Jake goes back...
Stop that.
When Jake goes back to junior...
Sorry, Jake.
And gets stupid penalties and gets suspended and doesn't look like he just looks like a regular guy out there. Matt Barzal looked like he was John Tavares out there, and he's fantastic. And his numbers, he's a pass first kind of guy, so his numbers aren't going to be there, but he's so smart.
Do you think if you're the Canucks, do you maybe offer up your 5th overall pick for a Matt Barzal?
They would have to offer up more. Like, he is a great hockey player.
Hey, you were right about Leon Draisaitl.
He reminded me of Leon Draisaitl, but Leon's a little bigger. But Matt Barzal is just smart, and he's so good at hockey. And then Stu had to oh, this is your last game in Seattle. Are you gonna miss these fans? Like, yeah, I guess they were good. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna miss Seattle, and they have great fans.
I'm moving to Williamsburg, motherfucker.
Yeah. He's going to the NHL. You can't blame him for
Chell. I'm going to Chell.
Well, he did that last year, which really rubbed me the wrong way. I was hearing that he was going around the organization, the building, saying, "Hey, I'm going. I'm not seeing you again. It was great playing here.
Oh, that's awkward.
He did the exit.
The high school senior who's on the bubble about passing math.
He did that. And
never come back to school, never. Then September. What's up?
Hey, guys.
Hey, I know I'm 19. This is weird.
So I
can buy you beer.
He played great, and just that's somebody to look out for. Like you could see it in Draisaitl, and you'll see it with Barzal, and fantastic. And the Thunderbirds, they won their first WHL championship ever in franchise history.
Hooray!
So many legends like Prab Rye and Peter Nedved.
They got Patty Marleau.
Yeah, well, let's see ever won.
Yeah. he's the epitome of the Thunderbirds. Ain't one shit. Well, what's sad is like you see these junior hockey rinks, and they have all these old banners from like the 80s, all the ugly red ones, and like the Giants had like 50 banners for their BC divisions. There's 2 in Seattle of their Western Conference championship, so it was really nice to see them win the championship.
Oh.
Congratulations, Seattle.
Well, I'll wrap it up for this week's podcast.
That'll tide them over until Pohenix finally moves.
If you want to support the show, make sure you follow us on Twitter, PucksNetCR, PucksNetCaw. And you can also support the show monetarily on Patreon. Patreon. I want to thank Chris Schneider for backing money again this month.
Schneider.
Paul, what do you got to say?
Thanks, Yerky. That's a cool sign.
It's a great sign. We're going to have a arm wrestling match to determine where it stays, but...
My place cannot be a bachelor pad.
All right. Well,
so I think, I don't know.
I don't know what we're going to
do.
do.
You have a shrine at your place?
I think it'll look great over the TV here at Geeta's palatial estate, and the address is correct.
I'll get a hammer and nails out. It'll look great in there.
Really ties the room together. But no, seriously, Yerky, that is super thoughtful. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
No, it's a really neat sign. I'm disappointed that you didn't send us guns.
That was the joke. It came from Austin, Texas, and I'm like, Geeta, this package.
No, Austin's like the safe haven. Austin's
That's
like
what I said.
Austin's like if we had to go to Texas, it'd be the one place where we'd be all right.
Still, it'd be nice to get some guns.
Keep Austin
That's just
weird.
what we're saying.
We'd have to go to Arlington, Texas to get the guns.
We love the sign, but some guns would be just as nice.
I think Austin's a fortified. I think they built their own wall, but it was made out of old vinyl records.
If you want to send us some guns, DM me. I'll.
God.
And if you want, you can also subscribe on iTunes.
We good. We don't need no guns.
No guns. All right, fine. No guns. We'll just
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. And if you want to support the show, you can do so by subscribing or rating and reviewing on iTunes. And you can find us just wherever you get your podcasts from. Tell a friend.
If you don't rate and review, Geeta's going to shoot you in the face.
Apparently. She doesn't have a gun. So
if she gets one.
This is just, wrap it up, Ryan. This is getting out of hand.
All right. Well, on that gun talk, we'll go to 5 minutes for paying for the Patreon backers. And I have a good story to talk. Good story to tell from Seattle.
I had a celebrity sighting this weekend.
Ooh.
Back move, you know.